Walk into a room that's been stripped back, one sofa, one lamp, a rug on the floor, and the first thing most people feel is that something's missing. The second thing, if they stay long enough, is that they were wrong. The instinct to fill a room runs deep. A blank wall reads as an oversight. A corner without furniture reads as a problem waiting to be solved. An empty stretch of floor between two pieces reads as a gap that should be closed. These instincts make a kind of sense. Most people have spent their lives in rooms that were full, and so a room with breathing space in it feels unfinished by comparison. But the rooms that hold up, the ones that still feel right 10 years after the last object was placed, almost never got there by filling every available surface. They got there by knowing when to stop. And usually by stopping earlier than felt comfortable. What empty space does in a room is harder to name than what furniture does, which is probably why most people never think about it deliberately. But it works. A room with 15 feet of open floor between the sitting area and the entrance has a quality that a room with 8 feet of the same floor broken up by extra pieces doesn't. Those 15 feet aren't wasted. They're air. They're the room drawing breath before you arrive at the conversation. Crossing that floor gives the destination, the sofa, the chair, the hearth, some weight. You approached it. You crossed something to reach it. Contract that distance with an extra chair or a side table, and the room becomes serviceable. Everything is closer. Nothing costs anything to reach. The room is efficient, and somehow, for all that efficiency, it gives less back. The gesture of crossing an open room to sit down is a small thing, but rooms that ask nothing of you tend to offer nothing in return. The eye needs somewhere to rest. That phrase gets used often enough that it sounds like decoration advice. It isn't. When a room is fully furnished, every ledge holding something, every wall holding a frame, every corner occupied, the eye is perpetually in motion. Nothing stops it. And a room where the eye can't stop is a room that feels unsettled, even when everything in it is well chosen. The body registers this as low-level noise, not discomfort exactly, more like a mild, continuous demand. The room is asking to be looked at, and all of it, all at once. The body tires of that faster than anyone admits. And what gets mistaken for a room that isn't quite right? The vague dissatisfaction that drives another round of purchases, another lamp, another cushion in a different color, is often just a room that never gave the eye a place to land. The rooms with genuine quiet almost always have one or two surfaces that hold nothing at all. A long run of plain plaster with nothing hung on it. A stretch of oak floor with no rug interrupting it. A stone mantel with one object placed toward one end and the rest of it bare. These aren't absences. They're resting points. And they do something important. They make everything nearby look more considered. When a wall is hung edge to edge, each frame competes with the next. When a wall is bare except for one piece, that piece has room around it. The eye approaches it differently. It slows before it arrives. The emptiness surrounding a single object is a kind of framing that no actual frame can replicate. It signals that what you're looking at was chosen, not accumulated. I've paid close attention to this with walls, because walls are where the instinct to fill shows up most reliably. In a room where every wall carries something, paintings, mirrors, shelves, brackets, the result is rarely abundance. More often, it reads as density. A room that ran out of decisions and filled the remaining space with things. Take that room and clear one wall entirely. Leave the plaster bare from skirting board to cornice. The Venetian plaster, or the lime wash, or the well-applied distemper you've walked past for years without seeing. It becomes visible. The texture reads properly for the first time. The way the surface absorbs light in the morning and reflects it at a different angle at noon. The subtle variation of a hand-applied finish across 6 feet of wall. None of that was available when a frame was hanging in front of it. The empty wall earns its position, and by being empty, it makes every other hung piece in the room read as intentional. Each one now carries context. Each reads as something kept, rather than something placed. Negative space between pieces of furniture carries as much weight as the space around them. The distance between a sofa and a coffee table, close enough to reach comfortably from a seated position, far enough that the table doesn't crowd the knees. The gap between two armchairs angled toward each other across a rug, close enough for conversation to feel easy. Even wide enough that each chair holds its own territory. The distance between the end of a sideboard and the doorframe beside it, enough to breathe, not so much that the piece floats. These aren't decorative decisions. They're the room's grammar. Get them wrong, and the pieces, however good each one is on its own, stop reading as a composition and start reading as a collection. The difference between a composition and a collection is entirely the space between things. Light behaves differently in a room with open floor. When there's a long run of bare wood or stone between the window and the nearest piece of furniture, morning light can travel. It crosses the floor. It arrives somewhere. You watch it move across the boards, the angle shifting almost imperceptibly as the hour changes. Pack that floor with furniture and the light breaks apart. A patch here, a shadow there, nothing with room to develop. An empty floor isn't wasted space. It's a surface for light to cross, and that crossing is one of the more compelling things a room can offer for free. A single object in open space works differently than the same object surrounded. A walnut trestle desk, placed in the center of a large room, with open floor on all sides, doesn't read as lonely. It reads as the reason the room exists. The emptiness amplifies it. Every detail, the grain of the wood, the dark of a well-oiled surface, the slight irregularity in the hand-cut joints, becomes visible in a way it would never be if the desk were pushed against a wall flanked by bookcases and lamps. Negative space is what lets material speak. Make her crowd a well-made piece and the material disappears. The quality is still there, underneath. The eye just can't reach it. Old rooms with very little in them can feel richer than modern rooms stocked with expensive things, and the reason isn't nostalgia. The old room may have one good piece and a lot of floor. The modern room may have many good pieces and none. The old room's single thing, a secretary desk in figured walnut, a campaign chair with its original leather, a side table in aged brass with a plain marble top, has room to be examined. Its proportion, its aging, the way it sits on a stone floor, all of it available, all of it visible, all of it there to be read. In the modern room, the eye registers expenditure, but can't settle anywhere long enough to register craft. Cost announces itself the moment you walk in, but craft waits to be found. The decision to leave something empty is harder than the decision to fill it. A bare wall feels like indecision. A held open corner feels like something was forgotten. That restraint takes more confidence than reaching for the next available thing. And the confidence to hold a space open, to trust that the emptiness is working, even when it doesn't look like anything, is usually what separates a room that feels resolved from one that merely feels finished. Finished means everything went in, the renovation is complete, the boxes are unpacked. Resolved is something else entirely. It means every element, including the parts that hold nothing, is where it is for a reason. There's a particular silence that rooms with real negative space produce, not acoustic silence. Though that arrives too when surfaces are left uncovered and sound has room to travel, rather than bounce between upholstered walls at every angle. Something closer to visual silence, the kind of quiet that happens when the eye finds a long stretch of bare floor in the late afternoon light and stops moving. Stays, rests. A room that knows how to hold emptiness holds the person in it differently. The stillness isn't decorative, it's structural. The empty parts are carrying weight. They always were.